All right, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of our podcast. My name is Hansel. I'm here with my best buddy Wayne. We wrote a book, which, like this podcast, is also called theCoderBros Go to White Castle. It's a book about our story, how we grew up Asian, how we became best friends, and how we found our White Castle. Only our metaphorical destination wasn't a fast food joint, but an awesome little business called the Coder School that we now run together. So we started this podcast to explain the stories of other Asian Americans like us, how they write their own books, and what they think of their own White Castle, how they got there, and everything in between. So let's get to it. Wayne, let's introduce our awesome guest today.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Our guest today has done it all, been super successful business-wise and family-wise. Pretty much everything-wise in my book. Hails from Stanford. And if that doesn't suck, went on to get his MBA from Harvard. That totally sucks, at least for the rest of us who have no shot of getting there, getting in. I could stop right there. That's probably plenty to say. But beyond that, he's also been in consulting, founded and CEO'd his own company. He's held executive positions at Fortune 500s like Yahoo, and has even become a professor sharing his wisdom. His name is Joe Cha. Welcome, Joe, to the podcast. Joe, why don't you get us started? Just let us know what you're up to these days.
For
I certainly
sure.
would love to know.
Well, first, before I start, thank you guys for inviting me here to join you on the show. It is an honor and pleasure, and I gotta say, all my nerves are tingling right now. I'm so nervous, so I really want to do a
That's
good job.
awesome.
I hope
My
your
nerves are
audience
tingling
has
too.
a good
No, we're
time.
excited to have
It's
you.
awesome
Now,
to
if
see
you're
you.
Forever.
if you're listening out there and you're not tingling yet, just stand
That's
by and wait for
right.
the tickle, because it's coming soon. Since Wayne, you started off with the educational stuff, I have to reply with a joke about Harvard Business School. This is a joke that everybody who goes to HBS loves to drop right after they drop the fact that they went to HBS because they cannot help themselves in any type of social.
That's true.
So,
I mean, if I went there, I probably would. Can't blame it.
um, the good news about going to HBS is you go to HBS. The bad news is 2/3 of HBS is BS.
Yeah, but who
Love
cares, man?
it.
The
Love
one
it.
third is Harvard.
Yeah, but the
And
one
then when they
third is
say that joke,
Harvard.
right, then they go ha
Yeah.
ha 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 ha.
Well,
And
yeah,
uh,
Hansel and I even hate it worse when people are like, I just went to a school in Boston and they try to play it even like completely. And we're like, we know where you went, dude.
oh,
It was Harvard.
this is a
No.
family show because you guys teach young people. So I can't use bad words, or you'll have to go back and bleep out the
Yeah.
expletives. But that exact thing happened to me years ago. When we were all single and going to parties and meeting people, and you're always like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, you never know who you're going to meet, but you're kind of there to meet women. Or at least,
Yeah.
these days you can't even say that. You're just there to meet people.
People.
Right.
But when in ancient history, when dinosaurs still roamed the earth and I was single and going to parties that, we all went to, I remember this douchebag that, was just standing there. I happened to be at the bar and I'm like, hey, hi, how are you? And I don't know why. I never ask where people go to college. Like, I really don't think it's a fun question. It's kind of a leading question because it seems like you want to tell people where you went to college. So I never did
Yeah.
that. But somehow this guy with his little button-down shirt and slick back hair, and I'm like, oh, okay, kind of a douche, but we're here at the bar anyway, and I'm just getting a drink, but I haven't got my drink yet. And he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He says, where's this party? It was probably some, Apex party. And he goes, oh, where'd you go to school? And I think he asked, of course, because he wanted to share where he went to school. I'm like, I went to fucking Stanford. Like, oh, look, here's my beer. I'm like, okay, I'm obliged. Where did you go to school? And this goes, oh, I went to a small liberal arts college in Boston called Harvard. You may have heard of it. And I'm like, I've already got my beer in my
Yeah,
hand.
you may have
I
heard of
drink
it.
half the beer and I'm like, no, never heard.
No.
Out of here.
And the guy was just like,
Get out of here.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh, oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
We've met
that's
plenty of
that.
Absolutely.
Dude, so let's get back to
Absolutely.
what you're doing now, man. So, I mean, I think the biggest story here is you were so successful corporate wise, but now you're kind of like decided to do this thing where you're in this rural Washington and just like teaching other people, your awesome knowledge. Tell us what you're doing now.
So thank you for that. I did the corporate grind. I worked in California, worked in the Bay Area, and down in Southern California as well, which was where I'm originally from. And during COVID, actually, we became COVID refugees because I was advising a company that was doing COVID test related work. And I asked the founder, because this was early, this is before the vaccines. And I said, what's going to
Hmm.
happen next? What's the data? And he's like, it's going to be bad. Everyone's going to get it. And he said, and I said, well, where's the best place to hide? And he said, well, it started in Seattle for us in the US. And he said, so the first uh, the first peak and the first declines are going to be up in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh,
And
wow.
so that is how we ended up. So when people go, why
Oh, I
did you
didn't think of
move?
that because it did
I
start there.
never
That was
would
like
have
one of
thought of that.
there was a nursing home up there, right?
Yep.
And so he
Yep.
was like, "You got to go to Washington."
So
That was
he's
his.
so he actually recommended. He said nobody knows. There's just not enough data, and everything was
Yeah,
crazy. And remember, when it was early, nobody knew anything.
right.
And all I had was the data that he shared, which was nothing like he didn't break any HIPAA rules or anything like that. But he just said, "Hey, yo, if you want to be in a place that's going to be the first to get out of it, go up." And so we were already shut down. My kids were having a horrible go of it in online schools. It just because the teachers weren't prepared. Nowadays, everyone knows how to do it, but back then, people just were in shock mode. They were trying to
Yeah.
figure it out, and so the modalities weren't right. They were shoving in-person learning styles onto Zoom.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah. My
so
daughters
Thank
were
goodness we're
terrible.
past that. Yeah.
yeah, it's gotten better now. But anyway, long story short, we moved because of COVID, and we
Did
accidentally
you move out
stumbled.
of your corporate because you were kicking butt in the corporate world, right? And so did you like get your mindset out of that because of corporate?
Or getting my butt kicked. It depends on whose butt you were looking at. So I had already, yeah. That's an
Kicking butt,
important
butt kicking, whatever.
precursor point to the actual move. Okay, so a couple of years ago, had been working, um, not super excited about what I was doing, and had created a very modest retirement plan for myself to drink very inexpensive wine and live very modestly within a certain range. And so now I'm already hitting like the edge of that range. I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't save enough. But I stopped working in 2015 because my smallest daughter hit 4, and I wanted to have a chapter in my life that was dedicated to my family, my wife and my family.
So,
So
Joe, I want to stop you right there. And before we started the podcast, Wayne and I were like, huge applause for that, man. For be able to stop at that age and just be like, dude, screw this. Like, I'm not chasing the money anymore. I'm just chasing the family. I'm chasing the happiness. I think that's what like we all want to do. We just don't have the balls
Yeah.
to do it like you did.
oh
Yeah,
So, congrats for
exactly.
that, man.
well, so the balls were actually my wife's, and the reason I say that
There
is
you go.
I got permission to retire, and it was important because we're a team. I was always typical old Asian guy, right? Got to support the family, got to make sure there's enough money, blah 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 blah.
Mm.
And I was concerned that if I didn't make enough, and whatever enough was such an absurd made up number anyway, it didn't
Right.
make any sense. But my wife gave me the permission. She said, "Look, we're gonna have this time, and when it's gone, we'll never get it back with our kids." And so
Hmm.
I said, I think I want to retire. Like, you think that's okay? And she said, that's perfectly okay.
I
Uh,
love that. I
so
love that.
so
That's
I think
it's
about that
awesome.
all the time. Like if I could spend more time, if there's one wish I had, I would go back and spend more time with my kids.
well,
You actually did it. That's great.
yeah, that
Yeah.
and but you guys are lucky because you're doing something with somebody. Your professional days, like you're each other's
Right.
um uh uh
Yeah. Best
Buddies,
you're
you
friends.
can say it.
you're each other's
Yeah.
partners.
You could say that.
In the
Yeah. Yeah.
modern world, I was gonna say each other's husbands, but I can't.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, all
We've
old
called each
inappropriate
other
jokes
that.
can happen
You
on
haven't
your
read the book.
podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
We've called each other that.
so you guys have each other, and you guys are doing very meaningful work educating young people. So I didn't have that. I didn't have that satisfaction. And so being able to leave that was an immediate erase of a negative in my life. I just wasn't enjoying the work world anymore. And I
Yeah.
was feeling a great deal of loss, like opportunity cost about my kids. And like I said, the minute the littlest one I thought was going to remember what we were doing, we punched out. So 2015 was when we'd already started traveling and moving around, and we'd done a lot of travel days. Wayne, since you stalked me on Facebook, we were
Yeah.
working towards
Absolutely do.
all 50 states, and so by the time COVID hit, COVID really screwed us up because I was looking at an RV. We were looking at going full time
So
on the
when you were
road.
doing this 50-50 state deal, did you have a house, the home base, or were you just like up, we're just going to up and go?
No, we kept LA as home base
Mm,
because even though the kids were in school, because grade school doesn't really count for anything. It's really just to allow
yeah.
parents to go and work. That's what grade school is really designed for. So we missed a lot of school because I didn't want to go to popular destinations when everybody else was there.
Right. Yeah, I used to
So
do that.
so we like skiing midweek. Oh, midweek, amazing.
Awesome.
Doing big parks, the like literally the week after all the vacations are over.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
empty. So we were already doing that. And then we were actually thinking about, so we were based in LA, but we were hopping around. It was always home base.
And
We
so you
still
weren't the kids weren't homeschooled. They
no
literally
no
are zooming into an actual school
Oh yeah, we
from
paid for we private school, man. We paid
oh,
and
private school.
when you go
Okay.
to
So
private school, you get service.
yeah, so you can zoom wherever.
Yeah, they don't care. As long as you
Yeah.
donate on top of the fees,
Yeah.
like they don't care.
Yeah.
Um, so so we were traveling, and then like I said, we were tinkering with RV life and just going full time, and then COVID hit and sort of threw a rent. And then we actually had it. We made the best of it. We called it camping every day. Um, but the kids weren't doing great. I wasn't doing great. So we decided to do a road trip, and I was mostly concerned about LA County because 10 million people,
Mm.
who knows what. I was a little bit of a nervous ninny about COVID back then because at that time no one knew. So anyway,
I think we all
uh,
were.
yeah. So
Yeah.
my friend was gracious enough to kind of share his thoughts. Said go north, and coincidentally, we had friends who had just recently moved from Hong Kong, working for Nike to Beaverton, and so they had moved to Portland. And so we said, hey, we're gonna do a road trip. We're gonna meet you there, and we're gonna do like a COVID pod. So we did an Airbnb in Portland, and we were just hanging out. And I had nothing to do during the days. So this is a random story. Okay. This is how we found our house. So if you ever, if you're going to ask me a question, like tell us a random story. Well, this is how we found Portland. It's a really long story. Sorry, guys. But we found a house. The realtor who I said, hey, listen, we don't really know what we're doing. I'd be much obliged if you would show us around. And she's like, hey, I just had COVID. No one's going to get in the car. No one wants to get in the car with me. If you don't mind that I just had COVID, I'll drive you around. And she accidentally helped us stumble upon the place where we live now. Um,
That's
we
crazy.
we bought the
So tell us
house.
some high level about this place because you showed it to us a little bit already. There's this, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
You're an Asian guy surrounded by a bunch of non-Asian, otherwise known as white
That's
people.
right.
So
yeah,
yeah, tell us about the environment.
Sasquatch. So it's the perfect COVID hideout place where we live. We're on 5 acres. We can't see our neighbors.
5 acres. Holy
Uh,
Five
cow.
acres.
Yeah, well,
That's like a
around here,
city
that's not a
down
big
here.
deal. Yeah. Around here, lots of people are that way, and they like their space, they like their privacy, they keep to themselves, and everybody's got guns, so everybody leaves each other alone up here.
Yeah. You
When
mentioned, I mean, before that we even started this thing, the bomb shelter, so that you
yeah,
could
the,
do
the
your Unabomber thing,
the
you could do
original
that.
builder of this house really had Armageddon in mind. That the house is built like a tank. It's got a bomb shelter. It's got its own water supply, and so we kind of look like we're prepper. I mean, if you didn't know us, you'd think we were probably preppers based on the location. Um,
And based
now,
on the length of your hair, maybe because
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
The
because
length of
we're
your hair.
yeah,
That's true
definitely.
too.
That's right.
Yeah.
If I have to make a fire in an emergency, I can just cut off a lock and
Sure.
uh,
All right, so let's set the Asian stage. So we're trying to we bring Asians onto here because Wayne and I are Asian, and so one of the questions I want to ask before we sort of get to more stories is sort of how Asian you feel you are. So you're Asian American. Do you feel like you're more an American, or do you feel like you're more an Asian, or somewhere in between, and why?
oh, there's probably people who have written very eloquently about this. I feel like I ended up getting um, tricked into being Asian American, where I don't end up fitting either. Living up here, everybody sees me as like Mr. Chinese person because that's all they
Mm.
see, right? So I'm the most Chinese person you're going to meet in my neighborhood. I'm Chinese.
So what does that mean? Is there some racism to that, or are they just like ignorant about it, or what do you mean?
Uh,
They just go to you when they want egg rolls, or I mean,
Or some kung fu, or like
yeah,
you need to
Oh
beat up
yeah,
exactly.
if they
somebody?
were that interested. No, no one cares up here. Everyone's just doing their own thing in the woods. The people who live, particularly in the close vicinity to where I live, they're just private people.
Hmm.
And so living in a rural area is its own thing. People are very friendly. They don't care that I'm Chinese. They care that I'm from California. That was something for sure. They want to touch the third
Because
rail
they're
of
like
politics.
California,
Oh, for
anti-democratic.
sure. Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so it's pretty
100%.
red where you are, I think you
Yeah, but
mentioned.
I camouflaged myself. I bought a classic pickup truck. I shoot
Yeah, there
guns.
you
I
go.
hunt.
There you go.
My
Pickup
camouflage is a
truck.
very large red pickup truck
Yeah.
that's thick. It's like a 1996. So driving an old pickup truck around here, with the identifying characteristic clothing of somebody that shoots guns, makes me locally Chinese, but effectively, enough Venn diagram overlap to be left alone.
Yeah.
But to,
I
to your
love the
point about
camouflage. I'm
Asianness, okay, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead,
Oh,
Wayne.
no. Go ahead. I was just going to say I camouflaged a lot growing up in Alabama, so I kind of knew that
Oh,
whole
you get
trick.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I get
So
it.
so here
Definitely.
I'm Joe the Chinese neighbor. But back in LA, my wife's Taiwanese, culturally Taiwanese, and sorry, blood and culture. And so when I'm home or when I'm with my relatives, I'm basically the white guy. So I never
Right.
felt like I belonged to either. I would hop between, and in each case, I was the foreigner. And that's been my experience. I don't care anymore. I'm okay with it, because I realized in the end, no one else cares. So really, why should I? Everyone's too, at this stage of my life, I realized everybody's pretty busy doing their own thing. They don't
Interesting.
have
So you
enough
basically
time.
you're kind of
Go ahead.
neither. You're just a person. You're just a dude. You're just Joe Chop.
Yeah, yeah, when it's convenient. That's right. There you go. I think when it's
Yeah.
convenient for other people to just put, people like me to assess me and get me into a quick box. It's the same way when I said I just say Portland because it's easier. Um, yeah, I'm Asian American. Sure. When I'm with white people, I'm Chinese. When I'm with Chinese people, I'm definitely white.
I'm white. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's fine. It's just the box that works. And all of us, I think, share this experience in common. Being Chinese American. I mean, maybe you have different experiences, but my perspective is, I've always felt like whenever I was with one group, I was characterized as the other.
Hmm. Interesting. How do your kids feel about that? So you have three daughters, I think you said, right?
Yep.
Do they speak any Chinese? Did you teach them any culture, or are they just three kids?
Luckily for them, their mom did a great job giving them the culture, mostly through food. The
Yeah.
language, we did the obligatory Chinese school Saturdays, which they
Yeah.
hated, and they learned bo po mo fo, and they could go to if there is still a love boat, they could go to the love boat and get
Yeah.
by in the Chinese class. But I think because they actually are more than bicultural, they're they're they grew up in two separate places. They grew up in LA, which is big city, right? Uh, Asian grinder people, high achievers. They know what high achievement looks like. And then they've spent the other half of their lives here, in rural America,
Yeah.
which
It's
is
the
pretty
opposite.
anti-intellectual.
Hmm.
Honestly, that people just don't like. No one ever
Don't care.
asks me what
It's a
what what
low
am I reading.
priority. Yeah. A different priority
It's
for
it's
sure.
just good people too, right? Don't get me wrong. If there's people out there like, oh shoot, you intellectual, like don't no, I don't mean that at all. These are lovely people that we live near. We have really
Yeah.
nice neighbors, but they're not super interested in what I would call an intellectual life. It's just a more organic experience. So they don't think about their ethnicity as much because nobody values that up here. Now
Yeah.
they notice it for sure. I mean, we went from a school, uh, a private girls' school with probably 40% Chinese to public school down in town that's 99% white.
Wow.
Uh,
Right. quite
Wow. And
different.
so do they get any of that at their school? So 99% white, do they hear any sort of like,
Oh
hey, how
yeah,
come
there's
you're
a
here? You know?
little. Oh, for sure, for sure. And they
Yeah.
come back, and they're really mature about it. It doesn't get under their skin. Now we did have
Yeah.
one incident. Um, the school the school cops pulled my daughter over, and that was a whole thing. That's another podcast. So there's racism for sure, and that was actually one thing we I didn't say, hey, let's go live up here so we can experience racism. Like that wasn't the overt reason. We had our
Yeah.
reasons. But I did say to them, we're going to a very different place
Yeah.
and we're going to learn very different things. And, not to
Hey,
sound
speaking of
elitist.
learning different things, from stalking you on Facebook, I did see you were teaching them boxing. Does that all tie into this whole, you know,
No, that's very
they're very
selfish.
prepared, and that's why,
Self-defense.
No,
that's why
no,
your
Dude,
no,
you
no.
daughter's
should you
getting
need to
pulled
be
out by the principal. She's beating up people, she's beating ass.
Oh, we'll get to okay, we'll come back to the racism story, but let me tell you really quick. The reason I wanted my kids, so my kids, uh, jiu-jitsu, boxing, wrestling, knife fighting, and those get posted, and people
Holy cow.
crack up all the time, like, why do you do that? And here's why. Here's why. Uh, I went to college, and I was around college parties where people got wasted. And so for me to know my daughters will be going to college, they'll probably go to college. They don't have to, but if they decide to go to college, uh, selfishly, I want to be able to go to sleep on the weekend and not worry about them.
Yeah, there you go.
So why
So,
didn't you teach them kung fu, man? You're Chinese. That's what you got to do, right? What's up with the
uh,
boxing and the knife fighting?
no, the problem with that is I watch too many YouTube videos where like Wing Chun Chinese Kung Fu masters would get their asses kicked by someone doing MMA. So
Yeah, yeah.
I
MMA,
couldn't
that'd do it. Yeah.
I couldn't make that investment. But anyway, so that's the truth behind
That's hilarious. So,
behind the
okay, so
curtain.
all right, so you have, basically one of the top educations that you can think of, right? Stanford to Harvard, or I guess Harvard to Stanford is the other top education, but you can't get much higher than that. And so you went from there to this sort of this rural area, which is very different, right? And we were talking before about the kids and the college system. We'd love to hear a little bit about that because Wayne and I, we're stuck in the Bay Area where it's like, man, we got to get our kids into Stanford, although we can't.
Yeah. And
And
it
then you're
needs to
like,
start
I
in the
could care
third
less
grade.
about that. I mean, you have the perfect, visibility to both sides, right?
Yeah, I at the risk of saying something now that would make your listeners turn off this podcast. The caveat here is this may be sacrilegious, but um, I don't think it matters. I think it's all a big crazy construction that is unhealthy for my children personally.
Mm.
And I guess I'll say it in the context of where I've got grounds to speak as a father and as someone who's gone through a system. Just speaking for me alone. Okay, no, that's my safe place with you guys. So I think it's a broken system for me and my children, and we made a conscious decision not to participate in it. And
Yeah.
maybe it might, so people, friends of mine know this about me, and I have been accused by friends of saying it because I went through the system. So
Mm.
they don't have to because you went to Stanford. I'm like, well, maybe, I guess
Yeah, and
that
then you went to
matters.
Harvard MBA. That's
I
like
don't
the
think,
class of the top of the list, right? So,
but yeah, but
well,
see, here's the
what if
thing
your
though.
daughters do apply there, though, or say, "Hey, I want to go to Stanford"? I mean, you're not gonna. You would be
No,
like, "Hey,
well, okay,
right?
hold on.
So
Here's
applying
the
is
problem.
different than getting ready to apply, right? Getting ready to apply
Right."
is like you got
I
to
guess
Yeah,
do
that.
all the,
here's the
right?
problem, and you guys know this. You guys and I know
Right.
this too because we were in LA. That we were living around the grind and the grinders.
Yeah.
Um, the game, I call it the game. If you want to play the game and quote unquote get your kids into an Ivy League college, like you want to play the Ivy game, the Ivy Grinders game, it begins at birth, and the
Probably true.
investments and
Yeah.
the psychotic actions that people take start for a lot of people at getting them into the right preschool.
Yeah, that is
And so,
true.
and that is crazy. That's
Yeah. It
that's
is.
frankly that's bananas.
Yeah.
And we were living around
So
it and
true.
having grown up in it. I went to Harvard Westlake in Los Angeles. I went to John Thomas Dye. So if you really want to talk about education, like my parents
And
checked a
those
lot of
are,
those
so we don't live
boxes.
in LA, but those are like top private schools or
In LA, John Thomas Dye on the west side's kind of it's a feeder. It feeds into Harvard
Yeah.
Westlake. Harvard Westlake feeds into the Ivies. It's just
Mm,
one of those things. And people who care about that kind of stuff in LA care. And it's not right
Hmm.
or wrong. It's just what they know. It's just part of being in a society, in a group where there's group values that are shared.
yeah.
It just made us, it made me feel a little uncomfortable having gone through it to relive it again for my kids,
Yeah.
because there's the kind of, well, let's put it this way. There's no way I would get into any of these schools today. If I reapplied, if I had to relitigate my case, there's no way. It's such a crazy time. If you look at what people talk about and the numbers and the kind of people, the kind of money that people spend to create these crafted
I think that's what
thoroughbred
everybody says, but I
horses.
have a feeling Stanford would take in the one Chinese guy that's in the 99% white area that you're at.
Oh,
That's
right.
probably how they're
Yeah.
looking
Oh,
to
you know
round
what's
it out.
funny? Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the reverse advantage to being
This
where
is
you
Yeah.
are.
okay. Wait, that was not lost
So
on
you're
friends of
playing the
mine.
game within the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Right,
That's
right.
what you're actually
So
doing.
when we moved,
We just,
no one
yeah, we
believes
caught
me.
you.
Yeah, when we moved, I had a friend go, "That's actually genius.
Genius.
You're gonna
That's
get
right. That's
because of
actually
the blah 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 blah
genius.
blah." And I was
You're
like,
above the game.
"Okay,
You're
right,
even
right.
above the game.
There's got to be
It's
yeah, it's
awesome.
so meta." Um, there's
Yeah.
there's there's no way to explain to people who are in it that want to stay in it that it's a little bit like the news bubbles we live in. Can't talk about politics, but people who play the game, people who are in the grind, they're in a bubble, and nothing you can say, nothing you can do can convince them, nor should you even try, that you're not in the bubble. But we're literally not in the bubble, and it's given my kids the time and space to explore who they are and who they want to be. They don't have to
Yeah.
be a character that is attractive to an admissions committee. They don't. I've told them enough and proven it. We were talking about beforehand. Like I said, you could do whatever you want. Like these kids are doing whatever they want. So I've got a theater kid. I've got a kid who's looking at the military. I've got my little one who is the laziest TikTok watching, minimal effort kid who just has everybody wrapped around her finger. And I'm like, of all three, I'm like, you are CEO material.
Yeah. That's right.
That's what CEOs
That's
do.
right.
And
Yeah.
where you go to college has nothing to do with any, because you're going to have MBAs working for you. I can see it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's so selfish and tough and smart to like manipulate everyone around her.
Yeah.
I'm like, private sector,
So I
baby.
got to say, Wayne
Yeah.
and I, we were talking about how we totally agree with you in the sense that we don't think that where you go to school has effect on the success of your life, right? So we agree with that side of you, but on the other hand, because we live in the Bay Area, we're like, but we still need to get our kids
Well,
into Stanford.
yeah, I mean, you guys are.
So look,
Still
a little bit of both.
try.
I don't
Yeah.
envy. I
It's
mean, I
hard.
love you guys, but I don't envy the context with which you
Yeah.
have to live your lives and operate your business,
Yeah.
because your business and who your market, where you guys are, you're in a hot spot, a white hot spot for the game.
Yeah.
And
So I was going to ask you though. So if you were, so I know you don't want your kids to go through all this, Harvard Westlake and all this stuff. But what about if you had a time machine for yourself? Do you think it would, would you not be doing what you're doing now if you didn't do all that stuff?
oh God, man, that is an amazing, that would be wild to imagine that. I remember because um, when I was about to leave for college, that thought crossed my mind, because I was like, where I pick is going to put me down a path, a certain,
Mm.
I didn't know what,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I didn't know. I had no idea. Now fast forward 40 years to hear you ask that question brings back that thought I had when I was leaving, when I'd made my decision and I picked my college. I wondered like what my life would have been like. I don't know. I think I don't know. I think I would still be me. I think I would have done a lot of different things, but I don't think college shaped my personality. I think college and that time of my life, and I think that's true of a lot of young people, going to college is the first time typically away from home if you aren't doing community college. You're experimenting with relationships, you're experimenting with your identity, drugs and alcohol. Like, yeah, man, I think that's part of the growing experience is to try what it's like. Can you get up for a class hungover? The answer is yes, but it sucks. And so what you learn from it is instructive to how you want to live, but I don't think it made me who I am. I think I was me. I think I was baked when I was 15. And like I see my kids now, I've got teenagers now. I think who they are as people is largely baked.
Yeah.
So where you go to college, it's, I hear the argument that the elite people in the game, they talk about, well, you can, here's where you get the opportunity. Because if you go to Stanford, Harvard, you can work at Goldman Sachs. If you work at Goldman Sachs, you can run the treasury,
right?
All that shit. Why do you want to work for the treasury? Like, why do you want to grind at Goldman Sachs?
It's exactly. I mean, like, what do you really want? Yeah.
Why? Why? There's no. So I do Stanford interviewing, and that I did. I originally started. I don't do it anymore.
You reject everyone. Just reject.
No. Actually, it's funny. The admissions committee does its job and it rejects everybody for me. I mean, I'm like a scribe. I'm trying to help these kids out. But I honestly did try at one point because I wanted to get myself educated. And I did this when my kids were really young. I wanted to understand what kids were doing these days and what it was like, and I wanted to understand the process. So selfishly, as a volunteer, like you get that, and they're really buttoned down about it. Like there's so many things you can't do, so many things you can't say, so many things you can't share. All these rules, and fine. But what I got out of it was kids are still so young at that stage. The ones who, and I've met some amazing kids over the years doing that. And Stanford's rejected them all. But the point is, most kids who you can tell, I've seen enough now where I can tell when someone's grinding because their family's making them grind, because their activities are all over the place, right? And they're like, president of this, started a nonprofit for that, 6.7 GPA. Yeah. And you're just like, okay, why?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Like,
and what did you want to do? Yeah, not what your parents want to do.
And I don't mean to trip them up. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, don't worry. Like I'm just curious because I think having a point of view on why you do something is important. And it breaks my heart because, more often than not, this is one I remember. I'll never forget this. It was a South Asian girl years ago. I asked her that question because she'd written a book. She'd started a nonprofit. She ran the her parents, they paid good money. You could tell she was a thoroughbred. And she had perfect. I don't know. You're not allowed to ask grades or scores. I imagine she was perfect on everything. And I said, why? What got you interested in these? Why'd you pick these things? And she paused and she said, "That's an extremely difficult question."
Did she answer eventually?
No, she didn't know why. But her answer was, "That's an extremely difficult question." And I pulled back because I didn't want her to start crying or anything. And I'm like, okay, sure, no worries. I'm here to help. But I don't think a lot of children can answer that question. And that's because they're under the gun. They feel guilty if they let their parents down. They love their parents and they want to do a good job. They want to please. And so they do everything their parents ask them to do. They do everything the college consultants tell them to do. And they become what I call thoroughbred horses. But they don't know why they're running. They're just running really fast as they can, with their God-given speed and all the training and the massage and, the water, the warm water, walking in the waters for the horses. Like they're thoroughbreds. They're bred to run.
That's a great tip, man, is for these kids to step back and just be like, why? And in fact, it's really cool because I feel like it's
that'll be another career advice. You have to be able to answer why.
Why? Yeah.
Why? And go get the answer. But I hope there's a kid there who actually decides to really answer it for themselves and not because they want to get into college.
That's right. The parents already give them the why. Right. The why is like altruism. Yeah. I want to save the world.
But they're
poor kids. No 15-year-old has a reason why they want to save the world. They don't. They don't. They're too young.
They don't.
It's a great sort of microcosm of what you have done, which is somewhere along the way when you're thrown down the corporate world, making all this money, you ask yourself why. and you're like,
Oh,
why the hell am I here? And so
100%.
so
And
you passed that test. You
uh
got into Stanford a second time.
That's right.
well, yeah, right. Depending on, and seriously, there's some people who are probably going to listen to this and be like, this is wrong. They're going to just going to pop their bubble. We're going to ask them to take the red pill. Uh, it's, it's hard. I guess I know we're kind of closing in on the time here. So I guess I would leave you with this thought that I recognize that it's hard, and I recognize it's not for everybody. And you can have a great life just grinding and have a great life. I was lucky enough to be afforded the luxury of choice, to be supported by my wife, to be allowed to get off the train. And now that I'm off, I certainly couldn't go back. I mean, I teach community college. Like, that is not a grinder's lifestyle job. I volunteer in my community. The stuff I'm doing now feeds my soul, but I can tell you, teaching at community college, it's basically working for free. I mean, for what they pay, I get paid. I'm actually a state contractor. I work for the state of Washington now. But what I get paid in is the value I feel working with kids who are in the community college system. And they're not in the grind, not by choice. I mean, they don't have an alternative. They can't afford a grind. But what they want to do is improve their lives and get educated for very basic, what I would consider human rights, like getting educated so you can get a job, so you can provide for your family, put a roof over your head. I mean, these are real people facing real economic consequences, of not being educated because they can't get a job. So, I mean, I'm helping people become lab technicians. I'm helping people become welders. The true.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Towards the end of this, this section of the podcast, we always ask people, what's your White Castle? And it sounds like you actually just answered before I even asked you. I mean, your White Castle, your destination is what you're doing now. You're helping all these people, in the community college, and become welders and all that stuff. So good for you. You found your White Castle early on.
My White Castle is Clark Community College.
Right
on.
They're
right
my
on.
White Castle.
I'm sure they serve
But I would
ciders
view
too.
it as the last 10 years or so that you said, when you just kind of punched out and you spent all your time, with your kids at the age that they will remember now. I constantly think the same thing.
Yeah. You're right there. Actually, we'll end it on this. My White Castle actually just became Clark because one of the reasons I got this job is my kids are teenagers now. So the window that I had with them where I could be super dad, take them on adventures, put them on my shoulders, that time is over.
Yeah.
My teenage daughters do not want to hang out with me, and rightly so. Like, part of their development is this is their time to grow with their friends, explore the world on their own, start making some mistakes on their own, hopefully still in a safe enough environment where we're there to catch them, but they don't need me anymore. So now my kids I can't say kids, my students at community college, I mean, they can use my help, appreciate my help. And my kids still do. I mean, obviously, you guys are dads. You know what this is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the most important thing was, my wife gave me the space to let us do something different. My kids got a window of time where we got to spend real quality time. And now that part's over, they're gonna do their thing. And yeah, I've got beginning baby little roots growing in the community. We went out to dinner. A couple nights ago, and my waiter was one of my students. So I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Professor Cha," and I'm like, "Hey." It was great.
Yeah.
It's like I'm living a Norman Rockwell moment up here.
Dude, so all the college essays, they always ask you the question of how you impacting your community. And man, you got a lot of answers for that. You got the waiter guy, and you got the welder guy, you got all these people in your community that you've impacted.
I can get the hookup at the auto repair shop for sure.
That's awesome. All right, Wayne. Well, so we are done with the first part of the podcast here. Let's go to the second part. What is the second part, Wayne?
So there you go. That is from the Ming Dynasty gong. If you couldn't tell, there's different types of gongs. But no, just
high
kidding.
Tech. This is a
that was very
high
awesome,
production
right?
value show.
You can tell now if you're out there. If
Holy
you're out there.
cow.
But the portion that we're getting to is the "How Asian Are You" portion of the podcast. The acronym HARU. Haru. Hansel says it better than me. But yeah,
Haru.
that
Only because
Haru.
you guys are Chinese can you
And
get away with saying that. You know, I'm
That's
oh
right.
amazed
yeah,
Nobody
you
else can
all the
caught
say it.
that. You
time
caught that.
at
Yeah,
how
we're not trying to be.
Asianly out of touch I am. I got to be so careful now, man. You guys, that was very brave. That was
Yeah,
dangerous.
yeah,
We live
that's
in progressive
danger.
Bay Area too.
It's very progressive. That and the gong together, that's complete no-no.
Well, hello,
But
Haru.
yeah, Haru. Haru. Hello. Anyway, so it is the How Asian Are You portion where we're going to ask you a few questions um, about being Asian, and based on your answers, we'll be able to tell. You know how Hansel asked you
Yeah.
earlier, what scale of 1 to 10, how Asian you are.
Well, crap, I
This
am
will,
Asian enough to want to get a good score, but I've already told you that I don't
yes,
feel that Asian. So I'm like,
Yeah,
shit.
so
Does
you
that mean
win
I
yeah,
get
both
you're
a
ways.
D?
already on the grind. You're already like looking up ChatGPT. Okay,
Okay,
I'm
wait.
ready. I'm
Here's
ready.
another. Hold on. Before we do that, I know we're at it. This is too much fun. Let's talk for another 5 hours. Do you know what a? Do you know what an A minus is?
In the Chinese world, no, what?
In the Chinese world,
Yeah, it's
it's
a Chinese F.
yeah,
That's right.
it's a
I've heard that one
Chinese F.
before. That's
Yeah, it's
right.
like yeah,
That's
years and
right. That
dog
All
means
right,
years
you
come on,
can't
Wayne.
miss
Test me.
any of
translated.
Test
these.
me. You guys
You
got. You
can't
guys got
miss
more
any of
people to
these.
interview. Come on, man. Test me.
Yeah.
I want an A. I want to grind.
All right,
I'm
here we
in
go.
grind mode.
Let's do
Standing up.
this. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Let's see how good your pop culture is. We're going to start with current pop culture. All right, I'm calling this the KJC question: Korean, Japanese, or Chinese. So, of these three people I'm going to name, which is Korean, Japanese, and Chinese? One is kind of tricky. Ready? John Cho, Simu Liu, and Dean Kane. Which of
Okay,
those are Korean, Japanese, and Chinese?
John
Wayne,
Cho's
you probably don't even
Korean.
know.
John Cho's
Nice.
Korean.
Yeah,
Woo, number one.
Okay, I
I
should
knew
just
that
stop
one.
there. Okay, wait. Simu Liu is Chinese. Chinese
Dang.
Canadian. Chinese Canadian.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, even
bonus
better.
points.
Bonus point. Yeah.
Bonus
Yeah.
points. Double, double, double.
All
Yeah.
right.
It's a double double. In
So
and
I
out
mean,
reference.
being Asian, like we also, we did test taking tricks, right? So
Yeah, he's already the Harvard MBA, dude.
by virtue of
Yeah, you already
elimination,
know.
Dean is the
Yeah.
J.
Dean is the J,
Dang.
indeed.
Thought
Yeah.
Haru,
process. No
Haru.
wonder you got into
Haru, haru,
Harvard, though.
haru.
You must have aced the SATs.
Yeah, ancient Chinese secret.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, now we're going off the rails here.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have sound
All right.
effects for going off the rails. Wah, wah.
Well, we do have this.
All right,
Seriously.
name that sound, Joe. Where is that sound
Yeah.
coming from?
That is like from Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon.
Oh,
my
name's the
God.
movie.
That's just like a 60-yard field goal right through right to the post.
Wait, do I
All
get
right,
do I get a White Castle T-shirt from the CoderBros that says I scored 100% on my Haru?
Yeah.
Well, when the quiz is over, once we find out if you
Oh
scored
wait, there's
100.
more. Ah, crap! Now
Yeah,
the pressure's on.
now
I
the
gotta
pressure's
pee.
even worse. Yeah,
Oh
that's
man.
right.
Okay, how about this? Since you knew the Bruce Lee question,
But
describe the
yeah.
scene where he made that noise.
Oh, that's when. So I don't remember the scene, but just to make
Oh, he's
what I'm
acting it out.
thinking
You've got to
is,
act it out. You need to act it out. I
That's
mean,
too bad. This is a podcast, so everyone's
just
just
a
going to
podcast.
lose their
We'll
imagination.
describe it.
Like
We'll describe it.
an elderly Asian man about to herniate a disc by joining. Okay, play. If you play the sound one more time, I will
Play it
act
again.
out
Play it again.
for your
All right,
pleasure.
Here we go. Get ready. Oh yeah, he got it. That was it. Oh my lord.
If you guys
Yeah,
ever
that's
do a
so right.
vlog,
And
come
everything.
I'm
back.
such a Bruce Lee fan, and that like brought back. I have chills. Like if you could see the video
Little
again,
Chinese
the
goosebumps
hairs are
on Wayne's
standing up on
arm.
my arm. Yeah, they
Right
seriously
on.
Oh, that's
are.
classic.
Thank you
That's
for
classic.
that. I
If
mean,
you do
shush,
a-
yeah,
man.
shush, yeah, shush,
Shit,
yeah,
Jenny.
because we're
All
all
right.
fluent here.
Last
We're all fluent.
question. Last question for that 100%. With this comes with a bonus question because the first part is a little bit easy. In the original Karate Kid, what is the name of the Sifu, the teacher master?
Mr. Miyagi.
Oh, that's too easy. Okay. All right. Now there's a double bonus. What's the name of the actor and what character did he play on Happy Days?
Oh shit!
Damn, I'm trying to think.
Arnold? Was he Arnold on
Yeah,
He was
Happy Days?
dude.
Arnold.
Oh my god.
Nice. That is aging us. Totally aging us.
Oh,
Nailed
Name of the
it.
actor.
oh, I. So okay. I don't know it off the top of my head.
I don't know it either.
It's gonna come to me after we hang up, and I'll be like, expletive. It'll 3:00 in the morning.
Japanese last name. First name starts with a P.
What's his name? I can see his face.
It's a hard one, actually.
Man, yeah, I won't get it.
Oh, no, now
time
I got it. It just came to me.
Wayne, you can sub in. You can tap in.
Can
His
yeah.
first
Can I get a
name
lifeline
rhymes with,
from Wayne?
Matt. His first name rhymes with Matt.
Pavarita.
Yeah!
Ding, ding, ding,
Honestly,
ding.
effort.
It took me
Team
just
effort.
as long.
Team
Took
effort.
me just as long. Team effort, but
team
we nailed
All
it.
right. How did Joe do, Wayne, on our quiz today?
Well, dude, I think there was like 5 out of 5, and then I think another 5 out of 5 on the double bonuses, and created some bonus questions. So definitely a winner today. We're leveling up.
That
The
makes me
prize?
Asian.
Yeah.
I am Asian.
100% Asian.
Yeah.
We'll get you that t-shirt
100%
for sure.
Asian. So
100% Asian.
yeah, whether you're hanging, even if you're hanging with the Asian bros and they try to outcast you and call you the white dude, go, no way, man. On
I'm
the
100%
podcast,
Asian.
Scored
I got
100%
yeah,
Asian.
yeah. Come
Let
check
me
out
in,
my
guys.
Haru.
Let me in.
Yeah,
Don't
check
be
out
the
my
white guy
Haru.
anymore. That's
Yeah.
right, Haru. Anyway, so the prize,
You guys have
you're gonna
changed
get
my life.
the prize is going to be something crazy, and we will have to get it to you somehow. You got to come visit us in the Bay Area.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll send you a book. We'll send you our book,
All
and you're going to love it. It's priceless.
Can I get an autographed
Literally
copy that
worth
says
nothing.
Haru?
Yeah. We put
That's
the
exactly
Haru.
what it's say. It's going to say 100% on the Haru.
Haru, 100%.
All right,
Actually,
so let's see. We're going to wrap up this podcast by asking you one last question, Joe. Just sort of an open-ended, take the floor kind of question. So, what life tip would you have for the audience? Any life tip you can think of?
Oh, wow. Assuming the audience could be just about anybody that stumbles upon a White Castle and isn't sure if it's for them, my advice would be listen to yourself. In every big decision that you're going to come in your life, whether you're 15 or 55, there's going to be people you count on for good advice. There's going to be partners like wives or business partners or really close friends that are going to count a lot. But at the end, you're going to be alone when you pull your trigger or make your decision, because it'll be if it's really your decision to make, you'll make it alone. You really will. And you might be, worried about who you're going to disappoint or who is going to support you then and what other Game of Thrones things you got to deal with. But the moment where you're making the decision, you're going to be alone. So trust yourself. Don't worry about what other people think or what they might react to based on your decision, because they're going to do that anyway, whether they like it or not. Then they don't matter. They really don't. So when you get to that little fork in your road, make your decision. Trust yourself. Don't worry about don't worry about everyone else, because they're really not that worried about you. They may think they are, but they're not. Just take care of yourself.
Sage advice, my man. Sage advice. Well, it's been an awesome time chatting with you today, man. And Joe, we actually haven't seen you in such a long time, so it's really good to be able to catch up with you. It's huge congrats for pulling the trigger and just being the man. We all want to be where you want to be. We just don't get the balls.
I love seeing you. I wish this were a vlog, because I would just compliment you on how neither of you guys have aged. Alcohol has a pickling effect or something, because
I think Zoom has some kind of effect that it's putting
filter.
on.
Yeah, I've got a filter right now.
Yeah.
I'm blurring you guys don't know, but I've actually blurred. So.
All right. Well, cool. Well, appreciate it. Thanks so much for being on
the
podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye, you guys.
We are sponsored by none other than the Coder School, a company that teaches kids how to code with over 70 locations all around the country. So if you're interested in getting your kids to code, head online and check us out. Learn to code, change the world. Thanks for listening.